Ladies and gentlemen, I am a product of two systems of education. One is the schooling one. The second is the value system. In the value system, I slept in a village dormitory for girls where we were taught values through folk tales, proverbs, riddles, and live stories that we gathered in the day. The two blended very well in my schooling. Upon going to Form 1, my first time to be in a boarding school, my father told me, always crave for hard work. And number 2, he added, always relate well to your surrounding. This helped me to excel up to university, graduated with a BA with education. On being posted as a teacher, my mother gave me advice. She said, you're going to share other people's air, work very well with them and for them, so that you can pay back. I authoritatively told her, air is free. To which she said, if that is the case, then stay here and share my air. I was beaten hands down. Blending these two forms of education always led to excellent results by my students, both academically and at character. In fact, it became known as the very magic in the two schools that I headed, namely Bunyore Girls and Lugulu Girls. Upon retirement in 2004, I became a commissioner with Teachers Service Commission. This gave me a very rare opportunity to look at the education system from the employer's point of view. It also gave me an opportunity to tour the whole of this country, to come to understand just how implementing education in various parts of the country was being done. On retiring from the commission, I decided to do two things. One, write my story. Two, to impact my surrounding with values. But lo and behold, 2007, post-election violence made me change my mind. Why? Because what we had believed as being the bond for nationalism melted away in the heat of that tsunami. To name just a few, intermarriages between ethnic groups had always bonded the various groups together. Old women, even grandmothers, were hunted down and exorcised because of their ethnicity. Religion had also done a good job to bond us together, but it could not stand the heat of that violence. We had had a lot of hope in the young people, educated or not educated. But these are the ones who became militias that evicted people from what they felt was their ethnic territory and protected and preserved those territories. These events were an eye-opener And I realized we were a people without values. I therefore decided that now that I had grown up in values, I could attack the problem at its headquarters, the mindset, by setting up a value-centered system of running a school. But before I go on to talk about this school, let's just look at the historical perspective of Kenya's problem. Before the colonial system, what is now Kenya were a number of states neighboring each other, relating hostility with each other. The colonial government simply drew a line around them and called them a colony. But they perpetuated divide and rule for their survival. When the clamor for self-rule gained the momentum, we had a very rare, unique opportunity of thinking as one. And this dream is epitomized in the minds and the activities of three gentlemen whom I would like to share with this audience. One is Johnston Kamau, who, as he lay down night after night on that cold floor on a dirty, ragged rag, he endured all that because he had that Kenya picture in his mind. And even when he was asked to denounce Mau Mau in order to be given leadership, he turned it down. The second one is Adonija Ajuma, who was told, denounce Kenyatta and he will become the first leader of independent Kenya. He asked, yes, you will do that, but what will I do with his people? The third is Canon Jeremiah, a warrior of the Anglican Church, who in 1959, when he was asked to pray on a day that the governor of Kenya was visiting Kakamega, he prayed and said in part, God, help the colonial master realize that you gave us Kenya as a land just the way you gave them Britain, and that they may leave us in peace. Was a warrior arrested? No, he was praying. And so the ecstasy that throbbed and was felt during the first flag raising was real and true. Something happened. The syndrome of familiar faces appeared in offices of decision making. This syndrome has continued and changed into our time to eat. But more disastrous, it gave birth to corruption, which has grown and grown in stature. In the year 2002, the citizens confronted corruption, but little did they know that corruption had grown and it hit back decisively. Helpless as we are, this led me to start a value school, the Terra High School, where we, as a school family of teachers, students, and workers, we asked ourselves, what is wrong with Kenya and we came up with a number of things that we called ailments. We matched them with values that we believe can cure those ailments. And so we set ourselves to start living and growing these values. I would like to hasten and add that the value system is very powerful in producing academic results. Before we started the value system, the school had a mean of 2.1 in the national exams. But 3 years down the line, we are at 7.4. The values take place of the rules, regulation, and prefects. It is an inbuilt component that compels whoever takes part to know what they should do, at what time, in what speed, and why. Whereas school rules are branded by the school, the values transcend the school. To name a few, one of Kenya's problems, and which is also the problem of our school population, is selfishness. And we decided we will grow a value sharing. And each one of us is at liberty to create, to innovate and initiate the various ways and practices in which we can show that we are sharing. Today in our school, every class has a sharing table where the students keep their personal books, and any student in that class can go and pick the book, use and return. We all know that you cannot steal what you own. Nobody steals, because whatever each person has is owned by all. This one value has grown because the value system also inculcates in the person living it space and democracy for innovation. One student came up and told me the reason why some students end up miserable in class is because they run short of their personal effects, and so they don't know how to cope. And she said she would start a Samaritan Bank. And she indeed started a Samaritan Bank, the first ever in our republic, Kenya. In this Samaritan Bank, at the beginning of term, we all bank in quotes, the necessities like soap, pens, sanitary towels. And any student in need simply withdraws. I would hasten to add that rarely do we have one student continually, term after term, going to withdraw. But there is a clamor to invest in it. Another value that has been grown is reconciliation, because we believe that instant reconciliation produces peace. In the process, other values have been grown because a class is allowed to interrogate itself to find out what ails it, and they can pick a value that will cure it. From one's grow honesty in 2014, grew honesty in 2014, from two's responsibility, from three's reconciliation, and from four's sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, this in itself steadily is producing young girls with values. My hope is to advance to cover boys' schools as well. The syllabus is ready. It is tested and tried. All that I call for is fellow Kenyans, join me so that we can grow values in our young people, which this country so badly needs. Thank you very much.